Yo, hello, it's Nicholas. Sparkles of Gold. It's your weekly forecast from my garden, a decompression garden. I love gardens, by the way. Wherever I travel all over the world and neighborhoods, I like to walk through gardens. Whether it's the one the city keeps up or it's the one you have or whatever else. There's so much to see and feel in the garden. Lots of healing, lots of purging, lots of disposal, the whole process, you know. I would think about this upcoming month of September as if you were tending to your garden. If we were looking at the Pisces and Virgo parts of your chart and we were thinking about it from a spiritual sense, and then there's the practicality sense, the Piscean sense of things on the North Node, and then the Virgo part here on the South Node definitely is under reworking. Even though we just had the new moon, we're currently new moon weekend here, with the sun in Virgo squaring Uranus, with the moon squaring Uranus, with Uranus squaring the new moon here. So for me, not all is what it seems. And I think here, by the time we get to mid-October, especially in the Pisces and Virgo part of your chart, it will be seen. It will be clear. But there's some purging and reworking that needs to happen. And we're even going to go back in some of these narratives to earlier this year when we went to the March, April realm of things, when we had the eclipses back then. We had retrogrades that went back into Pisces. Remember, all of the Venus, Mercury went back into 28, 29 Pisces even further, then came back across Aries at the 0 degree point. We get to September 1st, Saturn's going to go hit 29 degrees again. It's going backwards. Uranus station this week. So that's my beginning of the video. Let's talk about the transits this week as we enter in the month of September. On the 25th here, 1:36 a.m. Monday time, Mercury will 15 degrees Leo pretty much hits and kind of finishes its retrograde story in one sense. There's one more chapter to go all the way till it finishes in Leo, but we're really coming out of the retrograde space now. And Mercury's such an important part of the month because it rules the Uranus and Gemini transit. It rules the South Node in Virgo, right? So it's a player and it's moving fast now and it's fully trying to express itself after its internal personal review in Leo. So this is very important. We pay attention to this. A lot is about to be said or expressed. And the reason is because later on in the day at 9:27 a.m. here on Monday, you're probably watching this on Monday or even after, the planet Venus will finally leave Cancer where it had a good run because of its transit and its conjunction with Jupiter. It leaves that space and is gone. It will be there though. It will be there next June when we will do our second Jupiter-Venus conjunction in Cancer at 25 degrees. And I'm not trying to sneeze right now because I'm in a garden. And I will always leave this stuff on my video and on my tapes and not edit it out as I fight through this. Some would say, why don't I just sneeze through it? You go ahead, you do that. I didn't want to sneeze. Back to Venus and Leo. Venus, I think, has a way here in Leo here. What we do speeds up really quick here. 3 weeks, a little bit, something like that. It's going to hit the degrees and hit the spaces Mercury has done here and will do, right? So it's very important. Now we're going to have, for a little bit of while, we're going to have Mercury and Venus and Leo. Okay, so again, I think now we get the expression that we've been waiting for. I think this is pretty decent transit. While it's there, it starts off really difficult. I'll get to that in a second. But hey, you might as well go through the cauldron before you burst out. You know what I mean? That's the philosophy I take. Venus and Leo, 9:27 a.m. Pacific. You know, she's so yummy, isn't she, Venus, when she's in Leo? It feels good. Needs to feel good. I need to tell you that it feels good. I need to show you that it feels good. I need to show you and tell you and be feeling good. I need you to acknowledge me and acknowledge my syrupy sweetness, my fully ripe harvested honey, my glowing expression, individualistic expression. Later in the day, Venus, as soon as it goes into Leo, gets support from Saturn and Aries at the beginning here. While Saturn's going backwards, there is a Venus-Saturn trine that happens to start this off. And what else do you want, fire signs? What else do you want? Like, you got a hint of this. You get a little something. It's nice to fully express yourselves, show off who you are without regard of consequences of what people think or what the follows or the dumbass likes or the algorithm. Shake your thing. Show it to me. I'm going to show it to you. I'm not going to shake my thing, though, on camera. But anyway, maybe I'll put a song to fuel some of that here, if I remember here in the comments of this video. Maybe you have a Venus and Leo expressive song. Maybe you need to express yourself. You're going to watch this on YouTube? Hit it up in the comments. My channel members, you guys are really good with commenting. I got to say, my Patreon members, you guys are good. So give me a Venus and Leo video, okay? Well, maybe we'll have a playlist we're going to start off here. And it's supported by constructive, stable, long-term building Saturn and Aries, who's on that quest, who's about to take a backwards motion here very soon. And on September 1st, like I mentioned earlier, it's going to go back to 29 Pisces. But for now, we take a fire trine. We take a fire trine. And we're going to need the fire trine because of this. I'm going to tell you my personal opinion on this channel and stuff. I know it's really easy to think about new moons as super ultra positive and planting the seeds. I mean, I've said it on this channel, but I don't necessarily think that's the way with the Virgo new moon that we just happened. I think we're about to go in, and you got to get dark before you get light. And before you get pure, you got to purge. And if you're a person who is affected in the Virgo part of your chart, South Node Virgo, remember, this new moon had Pluto involved. Uranus was basically squaring it. Saturn and Neptune were involved. These are all planets at very beginning degrees, and they were affecting the 0-1 degree part of the Virgo part of your chart. So it is a subconscious, fundamental movement that is something that's long-term. When you have outer body planets like this, they have a tendency to purge out or to shake things up. Uranus does. Pluto does it in its own way. Neptune is a little different. It's deceiving at times. But when Saturn being there with Neptune and affecting the new moon in Virgo, it should be clear the responsibilities one has to take in the Virgo part of their chart. One can come up with all types of scenarios. We overthink. We over-purge because we are afraid we are poisoned in the Virgo part of our chart. It didn't qualify up to some standards. Standards are good. Maybe standards are a little too much, though. Maybe it's a little too much here. Maybe a little too hypercritical. You get in the mental space of things, it's like you can completely get yourself sidetracked. And it's hard to trust the unknown and have faith in the unknown and faith in something that you cannot touch. It's not tangible. That's the Pisces part to go to help you with that. I'll get to that in a second. I'm on a side rant here. Be very real about the Virgo part of your chart. Even if you think something new is coming in. You might get a hint for later down the line. Is it long lasting? I don't think so. I think the purging has to happen first, and this month is all about it, and we're going in October too. That's my feelings about it. Regardless, 5:55 p.m. Monday Pacific time on the 25th, Venus and Leo is helped out by Saturn in Aries. We get to the 26th. Venus is going to make a sextile to Uranus in Gemini. Air and fire are digging it. See how Venus off the bat here is going chill time. Not chill, I guess chill time when the fire sign. We're on the fire with Saturn and Aries. And then it gets to do Venus sextile Uranus, 1:58 p.m. on the 26th, Tuesday, Pacific time. And then it's 2 hours later, approximately less than that, the Venus trines. It trines Neptune in Aries. So within how many hours here? We have like more than 12 hours. We pretty much have Venus connect with Saturn, Uranus, and Neptune in a decent type of way. Sorry, Virgo placements. Virgo rising, Virgo sun, Venus, whatever you have in Virgo. Go look to the Leos. Instead of the inward crushing criticalness or the outwardly over-judgmentalness, go look to Venus and Leo. They're full on open right now. It sucks to go back to the sign previous. You got something to learn there. Later in the day, 10:53 at night, is when Venus then runs into the cauldron. And that happens on the 26th at 10:53 p.m. Pacific and into the 24th for those, as I always say, in different parts of the world a day ahead. You know, I got a whole bunch of you now there that I know in parts of Europe, even South America recently. A ton of you in Australia. Hi. It was good to see most of you. It's good to see you. Made some good connections there. Met some new people. I loved it. There's something in the works. something getting stirred for me over there. Shout out to you. 10:53 p.m. Venus is opposed by Pluto in Aquarius. Pluto, there's no running away. If you're picking the flower in the field, there is no running away. Now, do you dive willingly into the crevice? Do you dive willingly there? Or is it a situation where you are being stolen or taken, it seems? Just when you had all the fun with these aspects, 12 hours, there's a certain type of reality that comes in. And in the end, it has to do with regeneration. If you know anything about regeneration, if we look at a snake that sheds its skin, it doesn't take a minute. It takes a while. There's a whole process. They got to go hide out to do it. And there's something that happens in it. It's an alchemical process. And one has to confront what is needs to be purged. What is poisonous, what is crap, what is not functioning. You don't know that until you run into Pluto. And Pluto starts to show you that and gets right in your face and asks you and challenges you. And it's going to even force you, it seems, under your own something. You don't want to be forced. No one wants to be forced. But it's Plutonian situations that happen. And Venus and Leo has to do this. The key is, can you find the benefit in all this? Right? Now, those who know this channel know about my mantras and the things I said about the Pluto and Aquarius transit for the next 20 years and how I bring in my slides and I trust myself and I'm prepared, all that stuff, right? This is part of the game. You Leos out there, Venus and Leos, could take notes from some of the Aquarius people or from some who have been finding their autonomous zone and, in a sense, brewing something in their lab and not necessarily needing to express all of their findings yet. I don't want to harp on Venus and Leo's parade here or being in a sign. Hey, go express yourself. We got to show that honey. I get it. I'm all about it. But there's the other side, too. True power comes in transformation. True power, I think, comes to a place when you are confronted and some of the things that was of power, you have to let go of. And in a moment here with Venus and Pluto, I think that's the gist of it. Can you see what Pluto's showing you and mirroring to you? And can you let go of it? And can your fixed pride do this? And can you detach from the ego per se with some of this? Not completely forever, but for a particular category, a particular way that Venus does Leo, right? Mercury's done a little bit of the work here by going internal here during the retrograde and kind of seeing some of this. Mercury, the messenger, can go back and forth from the underworld to the outer world. It is doing this. Now it's coming out. But in a sense, you want to use Mercury in Leo here to help you do this. If you need to get creative in your purging and the confrontation with Pluto and say it outwardly, go right ahead. I think that's part of a creative process, an expressional process. It's not all candy. It's dark too, you know. And if you're not willing to go there, I don't think you're completely there, honestly. 10:53 p.m. Pacific on Tuesday, going into the 26th and 27th, we have Venus opposite Pluto. When we get to the 27th, Moon goes into Scorpio. Thank you. Thank you. off the bat, the moon's going to square Pluto. Then we get into Thursday, the moon's going to square Venus. See how Venus is now having to deal with the truth? And then all of a sudden, we go moon in Scorpio sextile the sun in Virgo on the 28th. And then we have an interesting moment here on Thursday, the 28th. It's 5:08 p.m. or the 29th for some of you. We have Neptune going retrograde right now, currently in Aries, and it will sextile Uranus and Gemini. We dig this. We know this moment. It's not the first time per se, where it's the fire-air story. And it is a review of how we will use and communicate in the next 7-8 years of our lives. When we get to next year, 2026, when all these planets and outer body planets are finally going to be in their signs fully and not go all the way back into like Taurus, like Uranus is going to do, or Neptune and Saturn are going to do. They're going to go from Aries to Pisces, blah, blah, blah. You know, we got a moment here. And this is where creativity and expression in the dream has a lightning bolt involved. Sometimes a thunder shower happens in your world, but from a bigger long-term basis, we appreciate change of Uranus and the vision of Neptune in Aries. Remember, this Aries story, especially the next 2.5 years with Saturn and Neptune going to be there, really set in next year. We have a visionary quest for Aries to be on, and they must fight for that quest. But it's not just for the sake of fighting and excelling and climbing and impulsively doing. What's the real meaning behind it? Philosophical meaning of things, the bigger picture. And Uranus and Gemini throws an idea here to Neptune and Aries, going backwards. To take that idea, and Neptune and Aries is going to go back into Pisces eventually, and it has to do something, almost wash the idea, almost put it in a deep pool of water idea. The deep pool of earlier this year when Neptune was in Pisces, right? During eclipse season. So there's something there that Uranus and Gemini gives to Neptune and Aries, and it needs to be taken care of in the Piscean realm. And when we get back eventually, when Neptune goes into Aries again, we have something that comes out of that Uranus and Gemini idea, right? So that happens on Thursday. Friday, we have Moon in Scorpio trine Jupiter in Cancer. It's going to trine the North Node. A little bit of something with these eclipse nodes is right there. And then we got square Mercury in Leo. Then we got a void moon at 13 hours. I never talk about void in this channel, but I'm going to be real with you. I understand some of you are running your life at every damn single thing in the ephemeris or in your calendar. You're afraid to go outside of your house, or you do go out of your house, with every single goddamn transit. And I'm going to tell you right now, if you feel that you're living in fear and detrimental moves or non-actions in your life because of astrology, because of the damn ephemeris, please don't do that. I'm going to tell you right now, you're going to watch this forecast. You got to live life. You got to go do things. Yeah, there's certain transits where you're not going to do anything, or it really hits your chart and you're going to go look at progressions and some other techniques, solidify it. But if you're spinning out by every single hour, every single day, because you read something on Threads, or you saw some nice polished up Gen Z Instagram post that's freaking you out in the end, please step away. Please take a break. Void moons, yeah, you don't do anything. I think there's always something to do. And I think even with transits that would say do something, remember nothing is doing something. I specifically mentioned void moon here because I never talk about it in this way, and it's purposely done. And in future videos, I'll talk a little bit more about this, okay? Now, I'm not saying it's not real for some people, but sometimes you got to make decisions and take actions in life. And actions define a person. So do non-actions. But if you don't have the choice but to take actions, and you're going to go look at the astrological calendar, and you're going to start freaking out and have anxiety and freaking yourself out because you have no choice in steering that. And so the decision you have to make is already filtered, already concocted from within based on anxiety and fear. Dude, it doesn't matter what the astrology, you're like, what are you doing? Right? So it's a little call out to some of you there. Now there's others that learn and progress and understand something like this and will use it. But when we're working with clients or we're talking with people, there's a responsibility to understand life. There are certain things you cannot get out of. And there are certain decisions and actions you need to take regardless of what the transits are. You're in that situation. So what type of attitude, what type of initiatory vibe are you going to take when you do the action? On the 30th, Saturday, Moon goes in the Sag. We have lots of Moon in fire placements that vibe with Venus and Leo and so on and so forth. I'm done with that. We get into the 31st here on the Sunday. Mercury in Leo trine Chiron. For those with the Chiron and Aries story and the Chiron part of your chart or Chiron's affecting you, hey, write about what hurts, will ya? Write about it. You know, some of the best creative songs and poems have come out of pain and suffering. And if you want to do anything with that, you Aries people, you go take Mercury and Leo to help you out with expressing this. And you could turn darkness into light or use both. It's all good. It's all bad. Whatever the case is, talk about it, will you? You have a therapist, you have a counselor, you have a good friend. Talk about it, Aries people. You get to talk about it. You've had Saturn and Neptune in your world here when the beginning parts. Sometimes Saturn will put you in a contemplative cave and you're secretly alone even amongst people and you're not talking about it. Well, Mercury and Leo is here to help you out with the Chiron story in the Aries part of your chart. So take advantage of it. You get to scream on a microphone and scream out loud, or you concoct something because you learned how to take care of some of these wounded stuff that you've had in the Aries part of your chart. And because of this transit's been long, you're like, oh, wait a second, I actually know what this is. I know how to use it. And this time I'm going to use it with Mercury and Leo and blatantly and outwardly, fashionably maybe, express yourself. So that happens on the 31st at 12:44 p.m. Moon will still be in the Sag. I'm going to end here because we're into the 31st and we get into September. Can you believe it? We're into September. And September 1st, Saturn at 1:06 a.m. I'll do another video here for the next weekend. We'll go, as it's retrograding back, hit the 0 degree point. Pretty much it's where it is now and hits 29 Pisces. For those who have been really affected by the transits this year from 0 Aries to 29 Pisces, we all have, the world has. It's pretty much the number one astrological profile story of the year is how we're moving from 29 to 0 and 0 and 29 and all the way back. Right? All the outer body planets changing and going back and going forward. So we are in the 0 degree, 29 degree place this week. And that's really what's in the background. Go back to earlier this year when we were doing that from February all the way to April. The Aries part of your chart to the Pisces part of your chart. Saturn's about to do it. It's doing it right now and it's going back. And I just put an Instagram post up. It was a cocktail napkin that said where to go next. And what I said is, actions define a person. Respect is earned. You'll see here, whether it's you or anybody else around you, the world, you'll see who lives in fear or who lives with courage. Courageously living, even not knowing the outcomes, accepting change around you or in society, or confronted with the harshness and truth of the world, politically or whatever's in your country, whatever's damn stupid story they're throwing out at you. Haven't you figured out now that there's no way out of it? Once you figure that out, what are you going to do about it? We are remembering the deeper meaning and spiritualness of things. When we had Neptune and Saturn at 28, 29 degrees here earlier this year, and the Venus retrograde that hit that spot, and Mercury retrograde, and the eclipses that were involved in in Virgo and Pisces. And in the end, what does a Piscean, healthy, well-rounded Piscean story do? They learn to let go, and they learn to accept that life is change. Change is life. And so here we go. The next so many months is an opportunity to tie up some loose ends, to confront the truth. But you're not naive to it because you've already been working on it earlier this year. You also got a hint in July of what's to come the next several years. But you need to go back now and combine everything I just said with eclipses happening. It's South Node, Virgo, North Node, Pisces. We just did the new moon. 2 weeks from now, we're going to have a major eclipse at 15 degrees, Pisces. We're going to do another new moon, 29 Virgo, an eclipse. There's no way out. What did you learn earlier this year? How are you going to apply it now? And if you see things that need to be purged and taken out, especially in the Virgo part of your chart, you do it, okay? Remember, there's a deeper meaning and quest involved. Go to the deep place. During the next month, access the Pisces parts of your chart and definitely access Jupiter and Cancer. That's your little oasis place, water place for you to swim emotionally and to get it together. And then when things start to move, you know how you feel about things. You know where you come from, Jupiter and Cancer. You know where you stand eventually with Saturn in Aries when it comes back eventually. But first we do the review, all right? There's a lot more I'm going to say on this in future videos. I'm going to go on a video roll here basically in the next month because I'm going to talk about eclipses. And I love talking about eclipses and I like working with people. And if you're one of these people, you're a paid Patreon member, you're my YouTube channel members, you know you got the special 50% off code that you get for being a member to my channel if you need to do a session. I'm around for a little bit. I'm still doing traveling, but I could do anything all over anywhere to do my sessions. Some of you inquired about doing payment plans. You got my answers. I'm doing it. I do not do readings for free, by the way. I do payment plans, though. There's other things that I do, too, besides being an astrologer. I'm a dreamer. I like walking through gardens. And I like that the actions, my actions, define who I am. And even if I do have some fear, I courageously stand in it. And I'm not afraid to move the piece on the chessboard, even in fear. No frozenness. Trusting mystery. You trust the mystery this month, my friends. Thank you for listening to my weekly forecast that was channeled. At the end of this video, I'm going to put a little cut in of something visual that I'm seeing off to the side here. And you take what you want with that, okay? My Patreon members, paid ones, my YouTube channel members, I'm about in the next 3 hours for making this video going to put up the next 3 questions with astrology video that was in Australia. I got another run of those that are coming. You are in certain parts of the West Coast, Seattle and Portland. I'm doing in-person readings too, by the way. Maybe you're in Tucson. Maybe you're in Los Angeles. Maybe I'm around those places soon. Maybe you would be up to seeing good old sparkles of gold, standing courageously, willing to hold the mirror with you at the crossroads. Strong, happy, compassionate, and a little wild. All right. So that's what's up. Thanks everybody for listening to my forecast this week from the garden. Stay blessed.